Welcome, people of the interwebs, to the companion of the companion podcast, the Megavision Sideshow. This is the show where we talk about movies, games, whatever we kind of want to that's not directly related to the Megavisions magazine that you hopefully are supporting, so thank you for that. Or we talk about, just a genre of something. But since Christmas is on its way, so is Arnold Schwarzenegger to show us all what's up. This week we're discussing Jingle All the Way, but with me over there, the psychotic postman is Sketchcraft.
Hey, good morning.
And the reliable but questionable neighbor bachelor, Corey, Tornado Jones.
Ho, 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 ho. Oh, I was Phil Hartman? I'm fine with that.
So, Chris cannot be with us today, unfortunately, which is kind of ironic that the only dad of the crew is not here to discuss the dad movie. But
the one who literally has like 9 kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's gonna be
and lives near New York.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know. Well, we'll get into where this movie maybe takes place, but so what this is, Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just about a dad who waits to the last minute to get his son a gift. It's Christmas Eve. He's a horrible, unreliable father that works at big-time mattress company or something, but has to get the gift to make up to his son for being the worst dad in the world. He has to go out shopping on Christmas Eve, and insanity ensues. But like I mentioned, stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. He doesn't really need an introduction. It is worth mentioning this is one of his very few, I don't think his first, because there was like Kindergarten Cop and stuff, but one of his few like attempts at family fun, children-friendly, whatever film. Also starring the late Phil Hartman of SNL fame, and the more I looked up his stuff, I think he's honestly known more for his voice acting than anything else. He was Troy McClure on The Simpsons. Yeah. He was even a star of a PlayStation 1 game called Sergeant Blasto. Rita Wilson plays Arnold's wife in this. She's not known for much outside of this, but she's married to Tom Hanks. And everybody's favorite guy to hate of Hanging with Mr. Cooper fame, Sinbad. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is... What's that?
Sinbad.
Okay.
I love Sinbad.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but Arnold's character is Howard Langston. This movie, its budget was $75 million at the box office. It did $129.8 million, so it did pretty well. What's one last thing worth mentioning is initially the film was meant to kind of mimic the Cabbage Patch Kids craze, but by the time it actually came out, it was more so mimicking the Tickle Me Elmo craze. I didn't even mention the year that it came out. It was 1996. So we're just... Oh, you know what? Chris isn't here, so I like to think of this as maybe his biography. He's Arnold trying to get that one last copy of Fortnite for Odin or something. So let's just dive right in. We'll try not to maybe interrupt each other too much, but give our thoughts on, how familiar we are with this movie to start out. So, Corey, is this your first time seeing this film?
Oh no, I've seen this movie many of times. I grew up with this movie, and even as a kid, I absolutely loved like the wackiness of the movie, because like that's what I love about the movie too. Is like everyone is like, besides Rita Wilson, who plays the mom/wife, everyone's like lovably over the top with everything that they do. Like even Phil Hartman, like Phil Hartman and Sinbad steal the show in this movie.
Oh yes, and everyone's a cartoon almost.
Yeah, and but yeah, I love this movie. I grew up with it. I finally made my wife watch it. Like I bought it on Blu-ray a couple years ago. And she had never seen it before. She sits down. She gets halfway through it. She goes, "What is this stupid movie?" And I'm like, "I never said this was a good movie. It's not going to win any like awards or anything, but it's an enjoyable, fun time." That's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, it's entertaining enough that you can get through it and not be like, "Oh, how much longer?"
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sketchcraft, I think you have a little more in-depth background with this than most people. So how'd you come along to Jingle All the Way?
So I worked at a toy store called Playco in San Diego, and I was the resident nerd. And so that summer, they were shooting the first toy sequence where he goes to the toy store and meets Sinbad, takes place at a Playco up in LA.
Yeah.
So they sent us up there. I went with the manager, they had to bring up all the inventory from San Marcos to fill the racks with all the game stuff. So like all that game stuff in the game center, the Virtual Boys and the PlayStations and stuff. So we got to bring all that shit to them.
Oh boy.
It was some marketing brand. They thought it might bring money to the store or something. So you actually see Playco.
I was going to say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one went. It is weird rewatching it and seeing the shells. I'm like, I know the smell of those shells like so well.
Right.
This doesn't mirror Tickle Me Elmo because Tickle Me Elmo was Christmas in '96. I was there for that, so that was
in the
fucking nice. This really mirrors the Power Ranger craze.
Yeah, they were going along with that too.
Yeah, I would say because if I could sum this movie up in 5 words, it'd be direct to video Chris Columbus. Like his movie studio
sequel happened.
His movie studio, his production studio put this together, 1492. So Chris Columbus produced it, and you could see them trying to do the tropes. So, like, when you see, at the time, he was tied to Fantastic Four. So when you go in the kids' room, we'll get to all of it, but you could see a lot of comic book references that Chris Columbus always snuck into his movies.
God, that makes sense because on the Blu-ray, it's one of those Blu-rays where you can't just hit a button to go to the menu. You have to, like, either, like, skip the previews, and 2 of the previews are Fantastic Four and The Rise of the Silver Surfer. So that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something. That was something I was going to mention going back to Playco, that they actually don't replace, because a lot of times you'll see a toy, an obvious location like this is clearly Toys R Us, but they'll call it like Toys B Wee or something just to be safe. But yeah, this one you do see on the awning it says Playco, which I thought was interesting. But the you mentioned it's not going to win any awards, Corey. It actually did. In '97. Yeah, I'm only going through these. I found these just now, and since you mentioned it real quick, it did win favorite supporting actor for Sinbad, and then best international actor. Of course, Arnold got that. However, it's got Razzie Awards though. Worst director. And then the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, it was nominated. Oh, I'm sorry. It was nominated for Worst Director, but it was also nominated for Worst Supporting Actress, Worst Actor, and Most Painfully Unfunny Comedy.
Oh, wow. Like, let me put it this way. It wasn't funny on set. Like I didn't really get to meet Arnold. I mean, you see him. I didn't get to meet him. But Sinbad was super nice to everyone, and I was not a fan of his comedy. So I was like, man, why is it that the nice guys are always like, damn it, you know what I mean? Be funnier. I
want them to succeed because they're good people.
If you were a kid when this came out, I get it. But I mean, we'll get into it. But let me just say, it wasn't funny on set. I had no desire to go. I didn't see it at the theaters. I didn't actually bother watching the movie until it was announced Jake Lloyd. Was it like March of '97 or something like that, or June?
Oh yeah, as a kid,
Anakin.
Then I went, he wasn't on set, but I never, he was not even in there. It was just
right.
Like that. So like, I was like, all right, go down to Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video because they didn't have late fees. And I'm like, plenty of copies, I was that asshole. Like,
yeah.
I had to walk into the video store and announce my displeasure, and then when I pick it up, they're looking at me. I'm like, I know. That's Darth Vader. They're like, Arnold Schwarzenegger? No,
yes, nailed it.
And they were looking at me. I'm like, I know. I don't know what's going on either. So it's been downhill all the way. And there's a scene. I'm not going to get to it right now, but there's a scene in this where I'm like, ooh, like if you know how life played out in real life, it's like, yes. Oh, I can't wait.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So let's. I guess that's my bad too. I didn't mention who's the kid in the movie. The kid that Arnold's trying to make happy and everything. The Odin of this film. Yeah, right. Hayden Christensen.
Oh, sorry. Poor man's Hayden Christensen. That's 5 words.
So, but it's what was his name again? Brian Lloyd. Was that it?
Jake Lloyd.
So, but he was Anakin in episode 1 of the Star Wars prequels trilogy. So, he didn't turn out too great, but we'll get into that because that is actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Unironically, it's hilarious. Oh, man. But Phil Hartman, like you mentioned, Corey, he does steal the show. He's the divorced handyman of the suburban neighborhood of the cul-de-sac, and he's
the player man.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to tell at the beginning because, like, that first scene with the karate, the kids' karate thing, like, all the ladies like, I made you cookies, and he's like, oh, that's so sweet, and the other lady's like, I need something fixed, and he's like, I got just the tool for the job, but then he has, like, this look of disgust.
Yes. Everyone's faces in this movie are fantastic. Sinbad's and Phil Hartman's, like, facial expressions to things are great.
Yeah, it's all really good. Like you said, everybody steals the show. This is almost a live action cartoon with some of these just overacting roles.
Almost.
Yeah.
I got a scene that proves the point. Like, almost. Let me say too, like before we're gonna get right into it, I just want to, because I'm gonna put this out there now, so every comment I make here on out will be, like tainted with this thought, but it's just taint. I'm a child. So since we're in the 90s, why not? So I believe that the reason why this movie just is fundamentally off on so many scenes where people are acting and trying to make more out of it is they just cast the wrong lead.
Everybody was in the wrong parts.
Everyone was in the. I mean, there's no reason. And look, you have to frame it this way because the movie plays out like Arnold Schwarzenegger is a schlub, you know what I mean, or a family dude who's never home for his kid. And you just look at that role, and you're like, Phil Hartman's getting the ladies, and no one's hitting on Arnold. Like, there's just like fundamentally throughout the whole film, like it just doesn't make any sense. You're like, it should be the other way around. Yeah, I mean, this dude has to be working out all the time, right? Like, how does a dude who sells mattresses look like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like,
you're my number one customer.
It does.
You're my number one customer. I know, right? How many times are we gonna do this?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's plenty of. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Remember, and also, lastly, we are just 1 year away from Batman and Robin. So, like, it was not a good time to be a Schwarzenegger. And as Resident Asshole number 1 in 1997, let me tell you, I was the guy at Comic-Con in 1996 railing, you cast who? Like, I mean, I thought I was Brody from Mallrats. I went in there going like, you, that guy, you know what I mean?
You're cool, yeah.
Yeah, he Bane's in the movie, but he's Mr. No, that don't make no sense. Like,
yeah, it was so. You were the MCU fan base before the MCU fan base.
Yeah, I was literally. Yeah, I might have been the DCU fan base. Violent.
This kid's room is amazing.
That's very true. He has like a spread of Captain America deflecting shields as his wallpaper.
Mural.
Or not even the wall. Yeah, it's a mural. Not even wallpaper. It's definitely like someone painted that on there,
like a fat boy.
Yeah, he's got action figures everywhere, covering everything that he has. But he's still cool and is in karate as well. And it's like, does this kid even go to school?
It's almost like this kid gets everything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So
almost.
Yeah,
Kids
almost.
Up at 9 o'clock at night
dad.
Kids up at 9 o'clock at night watching toy cartoons. You know what I mean? Like, it's like super late, and he's watching cartoons. He has this is where when I first saw his room, one, I'm like, okay, this is Chris Columbus, because if you remember Adventures in Babysitting, she also had the crazy fucking hyper comic book room because Chris Columbus is a big Marvel fan. Thor. And so when I saw the giant Captain America, I was like, gotta give him credit. You know what I mean? Put the giant Jack Kirby.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But like, everybody says like, oh, they're just to listeners right now. They're like, they're just talking about any kid's '90s room that's like the ideal clubhouse. No, there is a mural on this kid's wall.
It's huge.
You wouldn't just see that anywhere. And they're in a very nice house. Like he's the mattress.
Oh, yeah, they have money.
Factory king.
Here's a hypothetical for you guys. Did Ted paint that? Because there's no I mean, like, I know later on Schwarzenegger says I built this clubhouse, but he probably should have been like, I built the room, I paint the thing, you know, I always want to be an artist, you know, but look at me, I sell mattresses. Like, I don't, like,
there's some lines that we have to discuss that aren't even the Arnold lines, because this one has plenty of, like, oh, that's where that Arnold line is from. But there's, like, when they're arguing, or not arguing, but discussing the doll, like, after he has his breakthrough moment with his child, and she's like, you picked up the doll? And you're like, he's like, of course I did. And then she's like, okay, thank you. And then for no reason, he goes like, there you are. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. You should say like, I love you, or I love you too, not there she is, or something like that.
I don't know, man.
There's a lot of like, this is my ball. Like, he says a lot of things that are just like, oh, well, he said it, so we got to throw that in there, I guess, because we're not doing this take again.
He reminds me of, have you guys ever seen a movie called Nothing But Trouble?
No, yes. You bring it up every episode of the SciShow, I think, though.
Tupac's in it.
Yeah, Tupac Shakur's in it. But the thing is, the main protagonist, which is played by Chevy Chase, is like, you hate him. Like, he is not a very good protagonist, and that's kind of how I feel. Like, if it wasn't because of the one-liners, like Howard Langston's character is kind of a bag.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, if you've known any kid who you've just never seen his dad, but you've been to their house and it's gigantic, it's like that generic douchebag father, unfortunately. But yeah, you have a good point, because sometimes the star is like the everyman or the every person, but not in this one. He's, you know, I can understand from sort of a father, like, the kid's not going to understand you apologizing and say you're busy and you're making money. Like, the only way to prove yourself to this child is getting a toy for him. But at the same time, you should be able to, like, sit down with your kid and be like, let's do this instead of get you a toy together or something like this.
Well, that's the whole moral of the story, too. The whole moral of the story is, like, not the toy.
I know what the moral of the story is. I'll get there. You know, I got two things. So, one, you know, getting back to Chris, because he's got kids, you know, if this were today, all I'd have to do is buy him credit on Fortnite and f***ing done, right? Like,
that's the thing, too. This is another one that...
I don't think it would work today with the technology we have today.
I don't think it would work today, but I think it would be just as relatable to parents, because not just Christmas, but I'm sure there's like events like, oh, they need this thing for a certain party, or your kid needs this one thing for school that you can't find at like Michael's craft store or some such garbage, you know?
No, now it literally, it's the 2 days after Thanksgiving. This is literally Black Friday now. It's just parents going to stores and beating up each other for like $32 LCD sets and shit, you know? Not even for like expensive collectible things, for cheap fucking leftover junk.
Yeah,
before I forget though,
or something.
Also, ironically, this is a movie about going to big box stores to find toys, and this kid, I mean, lives in a big box house. Like, you know, like there's a lot of unintentional, like, ironic, if you really think about what am I watching, what are they showing me, you know, like scenes, you're like, what is the through? Okay, I think, you know, if you look at a movie like Gremlins 2: The New Batch, which is not really, it's a the first Gremlins movie is easily a horror film, you know, set during, you know, Christmas. Gremlins 2 is satire. 100%.
Yeah, it's a Looney Tunes movie that's making fun of the ethos of the first movie.
And I feel like this is a film that needed Joe Dante at the helm.
Oh,
you know,
that would have been amazing.
If Joe Dante could have ripped apart the action, you know, I want to say action figure, but the Christmas toy thing, you know, with the Power Rangers and the, you know, what else was big around that time? And Power Rangers was pretty big at that time.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
a little bit of that. I mean, they're in the movie.
I would say, yeah, Power Rangers are the closest thing, because I do remember, like, I was into them, but not enough that I cared about getting their figures, just the show. But I do remember a lot of, like, going to Toys R Us and them being on the news and people being like, they've got it, you know, you could get it. It's similar to the Super Bowl thing. If you get to Toys R Us at 5 a.m., you could have a ticket to maybe get the Green Ranger's Dragon Zord or something crazy like that.
I remember that stuff too, like, because I don't go to Black Fridays anymore, because, like Sketch said, it's kind of just like garbage stuff, or you can just do it online. But back then, like, it was crazier back then because we didn't have access to like Amazon, and we didn't have access to a lot of like the internet was kind of just starting off. So it was crazy, just like kind of how the movie portrays. Like, granted, the movie goes a little over the top with it, but still, it was still crazy. We've all worked retail before. We probably all have worked a Black Friday, and it sucks. But
Yeah.
So the movie opens up with a mock Power Rangers TV show opening.
Yeah.
Where the lead
Right,
character
Turbo
you
Man
see-
introduced the toy itself, essentially.
yeah, we never said the name of the toy.
Oops, yeah, Turbo Man. Turbo time.
Yep.
and it always sounds like Turtle Man, like so everyone makes fun of that. Oh,
and they make fun of
Turtle Man.
Sinbad makes fun of that. Yeah.
Yeah. But if anyone out there feels like, man, I should rewatch this movie, I do suggest watching the Toys That Made Us, the new season 3. They cover Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I would watch that before you watch this movie, and you're gonna get
understand.
Yeah, you're gonna get a whole nother like viewpoint on the film that I think that doesn't come across. But so you see this opening show, and I just want to say, like, one, it's funny if you know how Power Rangers was made. It was using stock footage from Super Sentai, Cyan,
show,
or whatever. Yeah, and then they shot American parts to work around it. This is like the most expensive version of that option. Like, when you watch it, you're like, no way anyone was spending that kind of money. Like, and then two, the music plays a lot like Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Like, I'm listening to this, man, this sounds like Remo. So I dug up David Newman did the score. He didn't do Remo Williams. So he had to have known. But he did end up doing the score to Galaxy Quest.
Okay. I can hear the similarities there.
Yeah, so you can get a bit of that. But yeah, he did a lot of those like Mighty Ducks, and he did both Bill and Ted's films for the soundtrack, and he actually did the DuckTales movie. So I think
the music in this movie is not bad. I enjoy it. Like
it fits it. It doesn't stand out, but it blends in. Like a good soundtrack, I'll always say, is one that you don't notice at first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just starts so explosive too. Like Sketch said, we're going into the Power Rangers, which is the Turbo Man commercial, and it's not even a commercial. Like, it's kind of like an episode of Turbo Man, and it's just boom, it just starts right into it. And I think that's, as a kid, because I was 8 years old when I saw this movie, and I think that's one of the reasons I liked it too. But some of the most of this is understandable, especially as an older person. I can understand all of it. It's kind of like grounded in reality up to a certain point, and I want to say that point is probably where he goes to the Santa Claus factory, where it's all the underground stuff with Jim Belushi and all that.
So good.
I love that scene. That scene is ridiculously goofy and over the top. But I want to ask you guys too: did you guys, when you guys watched it recently for this podcast, did you guys watch the theatrical or the extended cut?
Oh, the extended, to get that lovely song.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because the extended cut has an extra 3 minutes or something in the Santa factory.
Yeah, nothing crazy, but just enough that you understand, why did they keep this in? I feel like it's dragging now.
Yeah, but with those parts too, you're like, oh, now I see why they took them out. But did you guys know that the big Santa Claus is actually the Big Show?
Yeah, it's the Big Show.
I only knew that. I felt like I should recognize him, but I watched something else.
Paul Wright?
Yeah, Paul Wright.
Yeah, I watched something else discuss this movie just in case I didn't want to miss some points. And yeah, they did point out that that's the Big Show and everything, because he doesn't. He has three spoken lines, but you don't see his whole face, so I didn't recognize him at first, obviously.
Yeah.
So Jim Belushi plays the Santa that Schwarzenegger
the con
first
man.
Yeah, and the Santa wants to get him a bootleg figure. The little person that plays his elf, that's the guy from he played on Seinfeld. It was Kramer's acting and they have that whole episode where he's stealing roles from little people.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I see him, I'm like, it's one of my favorite episodes. So did you guys ever read the Clerks comics?
No.
I watched the cartoon, but I didn't read the comics.
So Kevin Smith did some Clerks comics through Oni Press, and the first series was drawn by Jim Mahfood, which is a precursor to the cartoon. You can see that. The storyline was really ahead of its time when you think about it, although it does take place after this movie, where Randall gets a boatload of Star Wars figures, and they're bootlegging them behind they actually go to a toy store, and the toy store guys are selling them off to collectors to resell. This whole underground trade of action figures, which I was like, why wasn't that the sequel? Because it's so small and low key and underground, but the Santa scene reminds me of that sort of wild. There's this underground bootleg thing of Santas. Like that itself would have made it. It's almost like there's parts of this movie that would have made a better movie than the movie itself.
Right. Well, there's even two storylines. Like, when it comes to the villains of the quote unquote villains of this movie are supposed to be Sinbad and Phil Hartman.
Right.
Where when I look at it, I feel like, if Sinbad were the male guy for that nice neighborhood, and every day he has to go to a nice neighborhood and see all these rich people living well, while he actually works his fucking ass off delivering them gifts, but he never has gifts for his kids. See, that's to me the emotional core that you got a vehicle there. You know what I mean? And then you got this other guy, maybe Phil Hartman, who maybe worked his way up, but he can never be there for his kid. You know what I mean? And then you can see them teaming up against Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has every thing. You know what I mean? He's got the commando grill. You know what I mean? He's got the
big Yukon GMC.
Yeah, he's got like multiple Hummers. One of them would be like a Christmas Hummer. He's got a Hummer for every season and like just that dude.
Jingle All the Way 3.
Look! I got it. I pray I never get hit out. Hey, we heard the podcast.
Did you know that the other little person that the giant or the Big Show actually punches is actually played by Vern Troyer?
Yeah, because I didn't know that at the time, but when I was rewatching it last night, and he makes that squee, I'm like, that's fucking Mini-Me squee. Like I know it. I can see it. I can see him. Like it looks. Yeah. I think the missed opportunity in this film would have been great if they had spoofed the Blaster Master scene from Thunderdome.
Yeah,
where they could have put Vern Troyer on the Big Show. Right? Like
great little buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, little buddy. Yeah, they got like candy cane ropes and shit, and they're swinging around. Like,
oh my god,
that's pretty good. Great. Well, what's worth mentioning, he's not credited in this, so if you didn't catch it, you wouldn't have been able to double check it in the credits. But the late Vern Troyer is definitely in this.
Rest in peace.
Just again between like him and oh geez, my mind just went blank. Like you mentioned, Corey, they're like, or maybe you did, Sketch. Everyone around Arnold, it's just the better supporting cast than the main freaking actor in this thing. It's just insane. It really. Oh, that's the Jim Belushi. That's what I was thinking. Like another, just like, all right, time to let's give Arnold a break again. Let's get him in here.
Minor detail on the Jim Belushi. Here's how committed those guys are to being Santas. His eyebrows are white.
Yeah, you can't stop looking at that. They're like silver crystal eyebrows. Like I was just like, man, how did they
threaded?
Yeah. This what's worth mentioning is this is not their first movie together either. They were in. Let me look at
Red
that
Heat.
again. Red Heat, yeah. So, which I didn't know that until looking this up, but I want to look at that. I want to see that movie now.
You've never seen Red Heat?
No, I haven't. I've a lot of Schwarzenegger is a blind spot for me because I only would watch his movies ironically. But yeah, it's
not as good as a 48 Hours, but you can see where they were going with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's a much better film.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
This is the era of Arnold that I didn't really watch because this was on the Kindergarten Cop, Junior.
Yeah, he was trying to just not be stereotyped, essentially.
Yeah, but then he went right back to like End of Days, Eraser, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
End of Days. I got a story on that too.
Wasn't that movie edited because it had the Twin Towers in it, or like the Twin Towers were being like?
No,
I don't think so.
That movie came out in 99, 2000.
Yeah, that wasn't 01 or after 01. No,
I was in the Army when that came out. I got out of the Army before. No, it just had that crazy scene with Gabriel Byrne and his wife and all that stuff. Where he has that threesome with
End of Days was 99. That's what I was trying to look up there, the date.
Yeah. I once had to paint signs in the Army. They put me in a room that was like 4 feet tall, and I'm 6'2". So I had to paint them all night because they're like, you're an artist, and there was no ventilation. And so I was listening to that soundtrack over and over again, the End of Days soundtrack, like getting high on fumes. I could feel my brain healing. It's the closest thing to tripping I've ever had. Like it was not good.
Thank you for your services, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I will agree with you there, Corey. Like up until the Santa drug ring or whatever, like that, it was a semi-believable movie. But then it's just like, what's going on? And then they have the fake song, "The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot," or that might be a real song. I'm not even sure.
Well, he's singing that in the car in the regular version. You just get a little glimpse of it real quick because he's singing it on the way there. And I guess in the extended, they were like, give him a 3-minute ballad. So
we got this actor, and he wants to do something. So
Yeah, I mean, Jim Belushi. So
but Arnold gets out of that somehow and says he's a fake. Just breaking laws left and right. He impersonates a detective.
I'm pretty sure that's like the first major so speaking of breaking laws, like the cop character that he meets early on in the movie, this guy just keeps like catching Arnold doing things that he should be catching him for. Like in the very beginning, he gets stuck in traffic and he's like, all right, I'm just going to drive on this shoulder over here. And the cop pulls him over, rightfully so. And then like later on throughout it's a running gag is like he goes to back up his car and he hits the cop's motorcycle. He's like, you broke my little mirror. But that's just how it is throughout the one thing though.
He could have just driven away. He didn't need to stand there and fix
That's
the bike.
What I said. I was like, dude, you could have just drove away and been fine with it. But the thing is too, speaking of that, like, so at one point the cop, we'll get into the radio station scene. I guess we can just go ahead and do it now, but
it's almost after that. So.
Well, one quick with the cop. So when the cop first shows up, I'm like, this plays like a really bad Police Academy sequel. I want to say like a Miami Beach. You know what I mean? The one with the Mr. Big. And so I dug up the director. He's producing or has been trying to produce a Police Academy remake.
Oh Lord!
Oh,
and so I'm
forever,
like, he had to have been like trying to channel Police Academy when he made this.
Because it's a little goofy. The things that happen to that cop are pretty goofy later on.
Yeah,
it's like, you ever see a movie called Moving Violation?
Mm-mm.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Moving Violations was produced and put together by the Police Academy guys, and it stars Bill Murray's youngest brother pretending to be Bill Murray. Jennifer Tilly's in it, and a lot of great '80s character actors like Wendy Jo Spurrier. Lots of great character actors, but the cops in there are straight up like Police Academy cops. You're like, this is fucking Police Academy cops, like slightly sexual, stupid, you know what I mean? Like, blowed up, like that.
pre Super Troopers stuff, like.
Yeah, not like, when damn well these cops would just shoot these dudes. Like, this is America,
It's almost like this whole movie was like a melting pot of people trying to get their own say into like, let's latch on to this Arnold film because it's Arnold, and meanwhile Arnold's the worst part of the film.
Oh, he's the worst, yeah. But we get to see Martin Mull, which I was super happy about. You guys
with the ponytail.
Yeah,
Holy
with
moly.
the hippie ponytail.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, we got to talk about the scene in the diner. Because
you guys,
it is my favorite part of the movie. So, back and forth throughout the movie, Sinbad wants to be Arnold's, what's his name, Hank, his friend, or not, is it Hank?
It's Howard.
It's Howard. I keep combining his first and last name. He wants to be Howard's friend, but obviously only to benefit for himself. So they're kind of going back and forth with really Sinbad trying to pretend to help Arnold screwing him over, the other one screwing him over. So finally they, aside from punching each other in the face, they end up both at this diner, and at this point, this is right after the Santa thing, and Arnold's just like, what am I doing? I need to just stop and basically face facts that I'm not getting this for my kid.
Because he just yelled at his son on the phone and all that stuff.
Right, yes, that's right. It starts with him on a payphone. Again, some part of this movie that just wouldn't work today. Or another one of those movies where not every problem would be solved, but there'd be almost no plot if there were just cell phones. But like, he's making the call and he yells at his son because he doesn't get to talk to his wife, and his son just keeps saying like, Turbo Man, I want Turbo Man.
To be fair, the son should have went and got the mom anyway. But.
Probably, but he's kind of fed up with his father.
I said, this kid's a little is what I said when we were watching this movie.
Yeah, he can be. And so like, he hangs up the phone, sits down at the diner, and there's Sinbad nearby. and Sinbad, they like swap stories. Sinbad pours a little bit of like whiskey or scotch or whatever it is, some sort of liquor that he pulls out of his jacket,
Old Homestead,
into the coffee. And
memorize the liquor.
Yeah, I don't know. But
hold on, I gotta think about that. You don't know any of the names of the stores, or but the liquor. You're like,
well, the thing is, because we were watching it last night,
I kept having in my head, for some reason in my head, I had it planted that it was just a flask, and so I like did a double take. I'm like, oh, that's just a bottle.
Yeah. Well, because I looked at it, I was like, because I asked my wife, I was like, Old Homestead. I was like, what is that, whiskey or something? She goes, I don't know. And so that's why, like, in my head, I was like, I remembered the name of it.
It's almost a Listerine bottle full of liquor. Like,
yeah.
With just being flat enough to fit in your jacket.
Yeah. But Sinbad like tells him the story of like, I really wanted this Johnny 7, which is an actual toy, which is like an actual gun that probably could kill children. Not an actual gun, but a 7-in-1 war machine.
Yeah, had a knife and all that stuff.
Yeah, but then he's like, I didn't get it. My neighbor got it, and he's a multimillionaire. And then, like, Howard's like, what have I done? My son hates me. My son's going to turn out like this guy. And it pans back over to Sinbad, but instead it's his son, Jamie, in the postman outfit, and he just drinks the liquor. He's like, here's to you, Dad. Glug.
I mean, you just look at it now, and you're like, with the alcohol thing, you're like,
it was not
his life. Like,
I didn't actually know about all that stuff until looking up the actors and like where they went, because I was like, wait a minute, it wasn't because I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan as you, Sketch, so I didn't immediately connect like, oh, that was Darth Vader eventually, but I was like, oh, that was him. I was like, surely he's done something else to like ride that fame. I'm like, oh no, he went the unfortunate other direction that some child actors do.
No, I looked it up and like it was this and Phantom Menace were the only 2 movies that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like if you could have been tied to, I was going to say 2 of the biggest things, but I mean, Arnold he's big. He's not Star Wars big, but he himself is big. So yeah, it's just.
I looked up too, like, speaking of tragic backstories, like I looked up like officially, because I'd always heard about what happened to Phil Hartman, and I looked up what happened to Phil Hartman. I was like, oh man. But there's also, my wife said there's a, I don't know if it's like a documentary, but there is something on Netflix that goes into like the history about it and all that stuff. So
for Phil Hartman specifically, or
yeah, I think it goes like into the life of like Phil Hartman and like what happened with him and his wife and all that stuff.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of stars that just had very unfortunate futures, including Vern Troyer as well. But I don't know. It's just like all over the place. Again, though, that just goes again to how strong the supporting cast was compared to Arnold. And just, man. So let's see. The diner scene. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're about to talk about the radio DJ. So, they find out that there's, you have to name this is another one of my favorite scenes that don't just out of context. It's just like, what's going on? The radio station's like, name the reindeer and you will get a Turbo Man, or like the possibility to earn a Turbo Man or something. So at this point, Arnold doesn't have his car anymore, so he has to run. And the diner guy,
no, he's out of gas. That's what it is.
Oh no, dude, he walks back outside and his car is a shell. Remember?
Yeah, but that's after he gets back from the radio station.
Yeah, it goes to the radio station first. He runs
and then
out
he comes
of gas.
back. Okay,
yeah. Which that neighborhood didn't look bad. Apparently, it was though.
I don't know.
yeah, he parks in the nicest, most gentrified fucking neighborhood
right in front
there
of
is.
the diner.
And there was no like
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, there was no like lead up to like having like seeing shifty characters nearby or anything.
No.
He just walks back out to that for some reason.
Like, oh, that's how New York is, or wherever.
I guess.
They're in Minnesota, because it's the Mall of America.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big mistake here was, okay, they're trying to do this Chris Columbus feel, because obviously Chris Columbus produced it. But I feel like the big mistake this movie made in its absurdity was they got rid of all the Santas. Like, they should have been like, Blues Brothers. It should have been more like Blues Brothers, where like these Santa dudes are hunting them down, and then like giant chase with all the Santas and the fucking elves. Because if the elves had come out and this car up and decorated up with Merry Christmas,
that would have been perfect.
That would have been yeah, I can see.
And they're
that.
foiling them both along the way. You know what I mean? Because there's that one scene in the. I mean, I can't help but laugh every time I see it. And I hate this movie. Is when the Santa shows up with the Christmas cane nunchucks. You know what I mean? He's got
what?
He's like, what's up? I'm just like,
punches him in the face.
Yeah, total Indiana Jones moment there.
I was about to say, is that supposed to be an Indiana Jones part?
It could have been.
That's a typical any martial arts. I mean, if technically you could say it's a Police Academy moment, because in Police Academy 2, there was a whole like scene where he fights all with the broccoli. Oh, not the broccoli! Like where he's knocking dudes to the lattice behind that dude's shop. So,
that could have just not been in there. He could have just went like right into like fighting him, but no, they just thought to put that in there.
I feel like it could have also been like we could have made a whole fight out of this thing, but you know what? Rather than write that and choreograph this, just grab that big candy cane Arnold and smack him one. You know?
Why do I feel like I'm like 3 months away from a remake? Like I could probably put together
for this.
Yeah, I think I could put together a Jingle All the Way remake that takes all these scenes and.
Yeah, I mean we're past the decade mark, so you've got plenty of or we're past the 2-decade mark, aren't we?
A side note,
holy crap,
on
2.5
on the radio station thing. So I don't know. Is it? I mean, radio stations around now, but do you guys ever win things on the radio station? Like,
my girlfriend has a good bit. She has an uncanny talent for winning concert tickets and stuff.
My parents won AC/DC tickets when I was younger.
Gotcha.
So I have an uncle, and my uncle hadn't worked a day in his life since the early '80s. What he did was he won things on the radio station for basically a living. Like every radio station in the San Diego area, he had calendars. He knew there was 30-day rules. He had multiple people. He'd have us go get things and pick things up under other names. And so this idea of going to the radio station and them not actually having the doll but giving you a gift certificate, I've seen happen. Like that's where I'm like, that actually fucking happens. Like
on the radio, he never said that. He said to win a Turbo Man.
They do that shit.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I've worked at a radio station too. It's but the that's what I was going to mention is just one of my favorite scenes when so basically they have to run to the radio station because it's a couple blocks away, and they're like saying to themselves like, what are the names? Let's go through the names of the reindeer. But one of my favorite scenes is just Arnold running down the street just saying, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixer, Comet, and he turns around to Sinbad and he's like, I'm having a lot of fun, bye. I'm like,
I can do this all day.
Oh man, it's just that was like,
isn't it?
What's that?
An antagonist problem. The movie has an antagonist problem.
Like
and the Santas
crisis or something.
Elves. Yeah, the Santas and the elves are their best, villains in the movie. You know what I mean? Like they got the
clear illegal intent and stuff.
They have holiday themed weapons. You know what I mean? Like
so weird.
That's when it starts off too with Sinbad. Like, it's funny because when he's running after Arnold Schwarzenegger, it looks at first he's trying to like that's the thing. I told my wife, I was like, that bag, he has to be everywhere with that freaking mail bag. And I was like, okay, I understand. Like he has to deliver this stuff, but no, he just starts throwing stuff out of it. I guess to make it lighter so he can run faster.
Yeah.
And then he finally picks up a package. That's where they end the scene is. He throws a box at the back of Arnold's head, and it hits Arnold. And then they just cut the scene, and they go to the radio station.
The problem is, though, it hits Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's indestructible, right? Like, he's just got done playing the Terminator. Like, we only see him, especially in the 90s, you're like, that's why you can't have Arnold Schwarzenegger play Mr. Freeze, because you're like, yeah, Batman, that's not the core of that character. And so you need a character
Mr. Freeze is smart, not bulky.
Yeah, you need like a Phil Hartman or a Sinbad. Although if I had my way, I would have cast a David Alan Grier in the Sinbad role. I know like Sinbad ad-libbed a lot, and I just think David Alan Grier is a much better comedian and character actor.
Yeah, that ad-libbing, especially when he first meets him and he goes into his spiel. I looked at my wife, I was like, this had to have been ad-libbed.
Yeah, all of it was.
Oh, yeah. I think that was also cut for time. I think that might, like in the extended version, it's a little bit longer or something too, just that rant of his.
Who slept slept with everyone in the post office except me.
Yeah, I think that part was taken out for the theater for family, whatever.
Sinbad choked a woman right outside.
Yeah,
that would not strangle her today.
Yeah. Oh man, just
okay today, bro. In '97, I'm like, he's choking. Oh. In downtown LA, like there's no fucking way.
The only difference today is like 50 people would have filmed it, and then that would have been on the news. That would have been more popular than the Black Friday rush insanity. Yeah. Oh, which actually, I'm surprised we didn't touch on this already. So yeah, all three of us have done our fair share in retail. Like the part where I started to disbelieve this movie was actually when I forget his name from SNL.
Chris Parnell.
Yeah, Chris Parnell and his coworker at at Playco just laugh in their faces. I'm like, no, 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 no. I know it's Black Friday, or I know it's Christmas Eve, but you would have enjoyed your job, or you would have wanted to keep your job enough that you might have like cracked a smile or been just like, ha,
No,
you're joking, right? We don't have that in. You know, it wouldn't have been like, like that old man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go check in the back or something like that.
Oh, yeah, you check in the back, you do a lap, and you like sit down for a second, and you just watch them on the security camera and be like, these fucking idiots. And then you go back out. Yep, I looked all over. We must have sold. You know what? We sold the. It's that guy out there. He's got it. Sick him. You know.
That's what happens.
As an employee at Playco, I can tell you, like, I was like, can I act like that now? Like,
well, yeah.
Is it okay now?
It's in the movie. We could turn it into
my manager Rick was like, no. I'm like, can't we? You know.
But we can make it like a documentary. We really act like that. How's that?
Can that be my Christmas bonus, please?
Yeah, right.
It reminds me of this came out way later, but did you guys ever see a movie called The Big Hit?
No,
that is we got to cover that movie. It is a fun movie, but there's a video
mentioned
store
to me
guy.
Recently. Oh, okay.
There's a video store guy who plays it like that, you know, but it plays better in there. But you're like, yeah, this is over the top nonsense with these guys. I think though, so here's the thing. So you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, you got this dad looking for a toy, you got a mailman who's got slight postal tendency issues, which is kind of the gag, all right, trying to like compete to get a toy for their kid. I think when Schwarzenegger turns down the Santas and gets them in trouble with the police and maybe they escape, they should be trying to keep them from getting toys. And then, you know what I mean? And then they could have there could have been a point where, you know, Sinbad pulls open the police, the postal wagon. He's got all these weapons and shit in there. Like, I don't know.
They could have really exaggerated.
Come on, Arnold.
But they could have been all like Nerf or shit. You know what I mean? He's like, man, that's overrated.
Yeah,
you know?
but it's still street legal because it fires, you know, rubber bullets or something.
And he finally gets his 7-in-1 gun or something. Like,
yeah, he's like, I never got it, so I made one. Here we go. You know, like. But yeah, so yeah, that's a scene worth pointing out too. That like he uses the stereotypical postal tendencies and says that one of these packages is a bomb, and it's a weird moment because they're against each other, but like for a split second, they finally do legitimately team up when all the cops show up.
Well, that's the thing. They have a very shaky alliance. They have an alliance whenever
they're frenemies, if you
will.
When
they need to come together. But the minute that it comes to a part where like they realize that both of them won't get a toy or something like that, then it's just like right back at it.
Yeah, cutthroat immediately.
It kind of reminds me, like, I mean, it's, you know, anime nerd, but it kind of reminds me of like the relationship between Goku and Vegeta. It's just like they're together when they have to fight something stronger than them, and then they're just like, all right, let's fight each other again.
Yeah, the healthy
it's
competition.
It's a very John Hughesy thing to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of John Hughes nods in here, which, you know, Chris Columbus worked with John Hughes. So this thing where they kind of go together, team up, go back. In movies like The Great Outdoors or Planes, Trains, Automobiles. Also, if you look at the kitchen sequences when his wife is baking cookies, it's very Uncle Buckish. Like if you look at is that a phrase? Can we use that now for accurately describe?
I guess. I mean, Uncle Buck is a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do. Again, it's a melting pot of like better movies. better,
more qualified, crappy 80s comedies. Like
I would just say like better talent, not just movies. Because with the how the characters are, how it's the cinematography and everything. But yeah, it's just not. It's such a weird. I don't know. But that Bond scene, I did enjoy. Just another line I want to mention real quick. When Sinbad escape, they both escape, but Sinbad's running away. They hear the explosion, and he's like, "That was a bomb? It's a sick world we're living in. Sick people."
So that's the thing. Everyone remembers the Arnold. They put the cookie down, and they remember all that. But that's my favorite line in the movie. Yeah, where he just goes, "It's a sick world with sick people in it." And he just walks off.
Yeah, but
he literally set off a bomb.
Yeah. That only blows up the one guy that opened it.
Yeah.
The cops are Wile E. Coyote. Like, they're just sizzling. You know,
Right,
what is this fucking like? That's where I was like, okay, if we're in a cartoon world now, like it kind of starts in the real world and then moves into. By the time you get to the Santa thing, you're fully in a cartoon world, right? Like, and then he becomes a cartoon character when you think about it. So at that point, I'm like, you got to ratchet everything up. You need Santa elves everywhere with fucking reindeer weapons and shit.
Coming in on jetpacks or something.
The thing is, that cop goes back to work.
Somehow.
He goes right back to work.
On Christmas Eve.
With his hands bandaged.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Yeah. You can't, man. He wouldn't be able to drive his bike. He wouldn't be able to man a gun. He wouldn't be able to write a ticket or whatever. Like
10 years on the Bob Squad, huh?
It must have been 2 days to retirement or something for him. I don't know. He's just trying to.
He's just trying to get there.
Yeah. Boy, I do like the so that happens. That's when his car's toasted. It's done. It's just just a frame. But then he goes back home because the tow truck takes him back home. Which we've probably all experienced the tow truck like awkwardly sitting in the front of a tow truck and trying to talk ourselves into it being okay. But I thought that was kind of funny. But
yeah.
But this is the one time that I did kind of identify with Arnold a little bit when he gets to his front yard and sees Phil Hartman's character putting the star on the tree. Like, as shitty of a day, and I'm not saying, like, I'm the prideful father, but, like, if I saw some other dude putting up the star on my tree and then my wife walks in, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I almost killed a man back there. I will kill one now.
The problem is it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He easily killed Phil Hartman. Like it's just no way. It should be Arnold putting those lights up. Where you're like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say if you come home and Arnold Schwarzenegger's putting your lights up? You're like, you know what I mean?
This is it. This is it.
These roles should totally just be switched. It should be Phil Hartman in the main, and it should be Arnold as the sleazy neighbor.
Yeah,
all the chicks want him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause there's no way women want Phil. No, I'm sorry. I mean, I love Phil.
It's not even that. It's like compared to Arnold, it's like they wouldn't be attracted to his handymanness. They would be attracted to Arnold's pecs. You know?
Yeah,
the presence of Arnold. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And Arnold has that punchable face. You know?
Oh, very much so.
You're like,
but back to the face of Arnold,
it might also be that like Phil Hartman is such a better actor that he's able to play that guy that you love to hate. You know what I mean? I feel like it came down to that.
Still, as a protagonist, though, you would want that's me personally with Phil Hartman. I would just love to I love Phil Hartman, so seeing him in that role. But yeah, it's different for me, I guess.
No, look, Arnold's cast for one reason. It's the only reason why this movie got made. You know, like it was just a vehicle for Arnold to be like, I'm in the family-friendly movie. You know, like
I am not just big action man shooting people. I love children.
They got a cop. I got paid $30 million to do this. You know, I
wish there was. Have you guys ever watched any commentaries with him? He's literally just describing what's happening in the movie. I wish that there was a commentary on this movie with him sitting in like, yeah, this is where I punched a reindeer, but it wasn't a reindeer. I wish it was a reindeer. I hate reindeer.
Sometimes I want to make it rain with deer. I just put them all up and throw them up in the air and let them rain the bodies down. You know.
Speaking of which, is that a callback to Conan? When he punches that reindeer?
he does. Yes. What is it? It's like a camel or something in that movie.
Yeah, he punches a camel in the head, like kills it.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah. Again, melting pot of better film. That reindeer scene was unnecessary, but I guess they needed a break. Oh, we didn't even mention that Phil Hartman, Dad of the Year, rents a reindeer to just bring in the Christmas spirit to the neighborhood and stuff. What sense does that make?
His kid names it Ted, and then when
oh yeah, Ted the reindeer.
Schwarzenegger calls, he's like, "Where's your mother?" He goes, "She's outside petting Ted," and he goes, "What?
What?"
That part, I don't know why. That's such not a good setup joke. But that joke got me so hard when I watched it again last night.
Yeah, it's such
no, it made you laugh. Careful how you phrase your words, buddy.
Yeah, it made me laugh.
I was like, huh?
It's such a weird throwaway line for another throwaway line. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it just show he's the good dad.
I guess so. Yeah.
How much if Ted's getting around the neighborhood, what is the venereal disease rate in that cul-de-sac?
I don't know. Yeah, it's Pleasantville. All the kids look suspiciously alike. You know.
Guess what I got you for Christmas? You know.
Oh man! But then this all leads up to this is the pinnacle moment where
The parade.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't.
Sorry.
We glossed over the fact is that Arnold Schwarzenegger goes because earlier in the movie, Phil Hartman tells him "Oh yeah, I bought a Turbo Man for Johnny months ago," and Arnold Schwarzenegger's just like, "F it, I'm gonna go steal it." And
again, kind of a realistic thought pattern or thought process at this point with everything he's been through. He's like, "There's one next door. I can have it. No one would know."
And I love how the one present that's underneath the tree that is the Turbo Man doll that you don't want your son to know what it is wrapped in the Turbo Man wrapping paper.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But that's a good thought.
That's like the quality parent thinking like, oh, it's themed, but not thinking like, oh, well, there's no surprise now.
No, not at all. But he gets caught and he has the moment of clarity and all that stuff, and then the parade happens.
Hold on. Before we get to the parade, I just want to say there's a scene with Phil Hartman with his phone call. Right before the phone call, he's in the kitchen with the wife. Who, by the way, Rita Wilson plays his wife, right?
Yeah.
Looking awful lot like 1997's Maria Shriver, right?
I always thought it was Maria Shriver when I was younger.
I thought that too because I was like, wait, I think there's all big all stars in here. Oh, she's done 4 other movies and then she married Tom Hanks. Okay, the different person.
Yeah, it's just because. Whatever, and she's being nice, but man, dude, Phil Hartman's sexually assaulting her every 3 seconds. He literally pulls a move where he forces a hug on her and then presses himself into her. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, dude,
it didn't play that well in the '90s too. It's not like I know it's now people are like, oh, it's because now, Rob. I'm like, no, it was not that funny at the time too,
it's just weird.
Yeah, that might have been if you didn't hate him then. That was when you're like, "Whoa, sleazeball alert!" That was the moment.
That's when he's supposed to sleaze. It's the whole in the station wagon van scene with him and.
But I feel like that joke that bit was put in to make you feel a little bit cool about Arnold stealing the kid's toy. You know what I mean? Really.
Yeah. But also, let's talk about that part real quick because the reindeer comes in, he punches the reindeer after being chased around. The reindeer breaks through one of Ted's doors in his house. The one of the members of the nativity scene gets thrown into the fire, which he kicks through his window. But they walk in and catch him in after all of this. But they're more disappointed and upset that he stole a toy. Never mind the collateral damage around to the house.
So you got this scene where you're going to have Arnold trapped in a house with a reindeer. If it had been the Santas, right? Let's say there was a part of that ring where instead of delivering toys, they were going into homes and stealing them to bootleg the toys too.
On zip lines and stuff.
Right,
do you want a job in 3 months? Is that what you're trying to do? Do you want a directing job?
Look, I want to be in the writer's room for these comedies. I tried to pitch a holiday story once to IDW. I was friends with the editor-in-chief, and he's like, I want to hear your stories for comics. Like, well, I got an idea, but you're not going to want to hear it. He's like, I want to hear it. And so I'm like, it's a remake of National Lampoon's Vacation, but it's Santa going with his wife on a summer vacation, and all the elves have to pretend they're his kids. Okay. And I remember he looked at me, and I just want a scene where, he's at the hotel bar, and it's all the other holiday characters are drunk and having shitty vacations during the summer too, like the Easter Bunny and Cupid and whatever Hanukkah celebrates.
So would they have to? Did they have to create this show that he has a family for some reason, or what's the reason for the elves to be the children?
Well, yeah, because his only family are the elves. They want to go on a vacation, but how do you go around with 15 elderly dudes?
Okay.
So you have to go around pretending to be his kids. You know what I mean? They have to because they're small. It's
I didn't pick up on how why they had to pretend to be a family. I got it.
Yeah, they're on a family. They got the station wagon, the reindeer under the hood.
I could see
this
that.
isn't a real movie, by the way. This is
you might think with the caliber of what we've watched so far, you might think that is a real film, but
that's what I bring to this podcast. You know what I mean? Blurring the lines between crappy screenwriting and this.
I thought you were going to
think about what you're saying though with the Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say something like just basically redo this movie, but it's Jingle All the Way 3, the Santa Claus, the Mall Santa story or something, and just from their point of view, maybe in the background they're actually sabotaging, and everything that we see happen to Arnold is because of the Santas and the elves, but we never see them in the shots.
Well, it's two different parts. So part of it is, they follow them around. I think this sequence easily could have been a situation where, there could be a thing. I mean, how do they get all those toys? Are they getting them from,
just the malls they work in,
distributors, the malls they work in? Maybe they're also stealing toys from homes too. I don't know. But yeah, they definitely could, at the very least, just be trying to keep him from getting a toy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because look, it makes as much sense as anything else in this movie.
Yep.
But Arnold fighting Santas, I think, throughout the film would never get old. Now you add a reindeer to the mix, and you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
And the
just
last
keep bringing the Big Show back nonstop. He's like, I want my revenge for my little buddy.
Yeah, and that's all he says when he enters the frame, like, little buddy, Yeah.
There's a callback.
Yeah.
And the last, almost the last scene could be when he's Turbo Man and he's hugging the family, and then Arnold just like throws a fist behind him to knock him out one more time, knock out one more Santa or something stupid.
Yeah, but the problem with the ending is, and we'll get there, but Sinbad plays the villain, and I'm like, he's not a bad dude. He should have played Boomer.
It's all
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
the villain could have been Big Show, right? Like,
yeah,
that would have.
So,
it would have made more sense, but I don't think it would have provided the ending scene they needed. You know what I mean?
But even then, he's
the ending. They didn't need that scene.
He's the bad guy for the comical ending that happens. I mean, he gets kicked in the nuts at one point, which surprised. Remember when Jamie did karate? That's coming back finally.
Yeah, but you can have the exact same ending, because the joke running throughout the movie is no one likes a sidekick. No one likes a sidekick. David Alan Grier played the sidekick in Blank Man, right? Other guy, right?
Oh boy!
But then
he was
getting do that. But if you have like the Big Show or one of the Santa Claus be that, then how are you going to?
No, you don't. You have the Sinbad character be Boomer. Everyone hates him. The kid gets the toy and the dad, but then he goes, I still give it to Boomer. Boomer
there
gets,
you go. Yeah, because everyone hates Boomer.
And then he's like, he's got the toy, and everyone holds Boomer up, because everyone picks Arnold up at the end, and I'm like, no one's left the fucking Arnold, dude. Like, this is ridiculous. Like,
also, like, Sinbad's going to jail, so like,
pretty much.
He's clearly going to jail.
Doesn't make
attempted kidnapping. You know what I mean?
And Arnold should too.
He blew up a cop. I mean, I don't know.
So weird. Yeah, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We're getting
a little bit of so we go from this scene to the parade, right?
Yeah. So he made peace. He's having beers with the reindeer near the clubhouse that he built for little Jamie, and then they go to the parade. We got to point out like who we spot in the parade. Everyone from like Sonic the Hedgehog to the Tick. To Leonardo. It's just all over the place. And then, but of all things that happen, like of all the characters running around, not yet Turbo Man, but Ted's son, I forget his name, but Jamie's best friend in this movie, basically, he's like,
Johnny.
Okay, Johnny, and he's like, Cat in the Hat, all right, and then they high five. I'm like, who the cares about Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, look. I remember looking at my buddy, and I don't fucking. Do kids like Cat in the Hat? Like,
it should have been Sonic, yeah,
or just the Turtles, yeah.
The Power Rangers. That would have been a great time to get the Power Rangers in the movie.
Right. One more nod to that insanity.
Or just not put the high five scene in there. Like it didn't need to be in there.
No,
it's a true story. After the Phantom Menace, right? I looked at my buddy and I was like, high five, and he was like, no, because we were stationed together in the Army.
He was like, no.
Yeah. So the guy I watched this movie with, my buddy Bradley, we grew up together. We watched this movie to see Anakin, and then when we finally saw Anakin, I was like, high five, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. And we gotta briefly mention the scene of the kids jump out of the station wagon, leaving Ted and Mrs. Arnold's wife to talk in the van about whatever, and Ted finally tries to make a move after offering some eggnog, and he gets punched in the face or slapped in the face or something with the eggnog thermos, and so he finally gets his due. But again, it's just like, why is this subplot happening? I don't know. It was weird.
So the next day is going to be pretty awkward whenever they see each other now.
Yeah.
Like, is his wife going to tell Arnold or he tried to come on to me and all that other stuff, and then Arnold it's going to turn into an action movie because he's going to go over there and kill him.
Here's where the movie gets a little okay. So from the writing standpoint, okay, I'm like, so he was first presented as a handy guy, and the women are giving him food.
Right.
But somewhere in the movie, he stops building things and he's cooking all the time. Women, and he's trying to offer food to women. I'm like, that's the last
hot
fucking
cocoa
thing.
with the reindeer and stuff.
They don't want all them calories and shit. Like, that is not gonna get you anywhere, brother. You know, like, I don't understand.
I think it's showing the best everyman. Like, he's good at everything.
Yeah, like, I think it's playing to the stereotypes that, he's cooking and he's a man, like crap like that.
It's the opposite of what Arnold is.
Yeah, I get it, but it doesn't make any sense for them giving him food if he's baking and shit too.
Oh, I understand. Like, I'm not arguing your set. Like, it's stupid. Like,
hey, you should open up the podcast with that right there.
It's stupid.
Time. Just cut that out. It's stupid.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I want royalties.
Okay. As much as we make from this episode,
you ain't getting shit, dog. You know, you're gonna owe $42,000 soon enough.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but and the cop shows up again. I guess that's worth mentioning because he's one of the reoccurring characters. Yep. And he has his bandaged hand. I feel like that was like the only reason for that scene in the car, other than to get rid of Ted. Sort of is to like Arnold sees them, he runs towards them, smashes the cop in the. He just runs into him. He's carrying coffee and he's got his bandaged hands and. Then Arnold gets pulled aside and stripped down and then turned into Turbo Man. Just all of this doesn't make whatever. And we see Booger as Booster.
That's who it is. Yeah.
A Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. I don't know his real name. He doesn't have a real name.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of stuff. They did a show like a couple years ago on I think TBS where they were trying to find like the biggest nerd or something like that. And he was one of the hosts of it and all that stuff. But yeah, that guy you remember that guy because of his voice.
Yeah. And he essentially later comes back to play his own character himself or Booger again in American Dad and all that crap.
Oh yeah.
So
okay, now I'm laughing. Remember when I mentioned moving violations?
Oh wow! I just looked up something.
So while you guys are talking, I'm like, who did play that cop? It's Robert Conrad. He was uncredited, but he played the chief of police in moving violations.
He's done a lot of he's one of the more talented people in this film again. But I just looked up credits in here, and Booster is credited. There's two different Booster credits, but I had to laugh at the one because Jeff L. Deist played TV Booster, who was in the very beginning, just the actual show, the opening credits thing. And then Curtis Armstrong, who's Booger, he's credited as Chain-Smoking Booster.
He only smokes one cigarette.
Yeah, but that makes him a chain smoker in a kid's film, I guess.
Yeah, it works. But then we get the
I feel the missed opportunity for Booster for the actual actor should have been Tom Arnold.
Oh yeah, this movie is severely lacking something that should involve Tom Arnold. I feel,
or the Jim Belushi role should have been Tom Arnold. You know what I mean? This is right after True Lies. Like that would have been a great.
It might have been more they wanted that voice for something that someone that has his face covered so that you can still hate the character as he's talking. I think or something. Like he's still got
Sinbad.
that Booster.
Yeah, that's easy.
I think
Sinbad.
I think if me and Sketch both like. Because Sketch said like Sinbad should have been Booster, and the whole movie is nobody like sidekick and all that stuff. But that should have been like I'm thinking of now too is like maybe there should have been like some underlying thing where Booster was like orchestrating this, like he was the bad guy all along or something like that.
Never reveal a third act villain, buddy. You got to pay it off at the end.
Like, we don't need
that's what it is.
We don't need a Venom in here.
That's first screenwriting 101, which is why when you watch Spider-Man 3, you're like, they didn't fucking listen. You know what I mean? Robert McKay, you know what I mean? It's fucking just, it's these guys.
Yeah.
But so Arnold's on a float. Somehow he's got a jetpack. The whole good thing. I like how they try to make it seem like somehow could not figure out this is Arnold Schwarzenegger in this thing, because when they're dressing him up as Turbo Man, the kind of the right hand man on everything involving this parade float scene or whatever, he's like, thanks for sitting in so late, blah blah blah. The voice modulation thing is on there so that it'll make your voice sound more like Turbo Man or something like that. I'm like, no, it's still going to be let's turbo time the Jamie.
And they literally swipe a million shots from the Rocketeer. Around with this thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Rocketeer's
fantastic.
Before the Iron Man movie or the better one, whatever. It's just insane. It's just a melting pot.
We still don't have the technology for that pack. I mean,
No.
if it were on Wireworks and like they were, you know what I mean? Like they were trying to put on a show, it'd be one thing. But he's literally like, think about this. We're going to give an actor an actual working rocket pack and have him fly around Minnesota. I don't fucking know.
And
like,
carry a child somehow, assuming that was part of the plan. To like catch the
I just want
child
to
and
watch the
fly around.
Rocketeer. I just want to watch the Rocketeer now.
But he even does the thing where it turns off and he falls off the bottom of the screen and pops back up. Like I'm like, this is literally almost shot for shot.
Yeah.
The first time he got the rocket pack and Rocketeer.
Rocketeer, what came out 2 years before this?
91. No,
Not-
it came out.
yeah,
91.
I thought it was 94. My bad. Yeah,
Not
91.
far enough away, but yeah, what a
I saw it at a radio premiere party on an aircraft carrier in San Diego. We went to in Coronado. It was on the aircraft carrier, which is across from Coronado. Then we went on to Coronado Naval Base, and they had it there at the theater. And so it was a whole. I'll never forget it. I'm like, it was crazy. What is this movie?
Mhm.
But yeah, this whole sequence. Look, the special effects on the sequence weren't that great at the time either.
Mm-mm.
Like it's very stiff, you know. Like you could really see the edging around the blue screen work or whatever they're doing, like a rear
Some kind of
projection
screen.
sometimes.
Some kind of screen.
Yeah, it feels like more like I'm gonna say rear projection, but it definitely I don't know. Like
there's a part where Arnold looks like he's just like laying like on his like he's like planking and like just flying through the sky.
Yeah. And you know, since he's Turbo Man, somehow, of course, we have to make Sinbad Dr. Dementor, which he knocks a guy, doesn't knock a guy out, but he kicks the crap out of a guy, steals his Dementor outfit, and just leaves the guy on the rooftop of a building. So he might still be there to this day. We don't know. The guy who was originally playing Dementor. Man, but then he's Dementor, and hilarity battles ensue, and whatever. I don't even know.
I don't have much to say about that.
The scene's all over the place, but
yeah. We have our goofy anti-Power Rangers, the Demon Team.
Yeah. The Demon Team. Sinbad flips off all of the parade goers. Good stuff, family stuff.
He doesn't flip them off. He does the the shove it.
Yeah, pretty much. I enjoyed the one part where we mentioned how the karate comes back finally, full circle, sort of, so that Jamie kicks Sinbad in the balls. I like the part where Sinbad's running through the street and he knocks out one of the parade dancers, which is just a gift box. And he's like, "Get out of my way, box!" But then the saddest and funniest thing happens when the other ornaments like gather around with no arms. They're just like, "Oh no, like, our brother."
That was pretty funny.
The movie's at its funniest when it's taking that holiday stuff and turning it into like, fight sequences and
just the masochism.
Shit, so.
Yeah.
Oh man, this whole thing just doesn't make sense. And so Sinbad goes to jail. Jamie's like, "I'll brighten up his day and give him my Turbo Man doll." That doesn't mean he's going to keep that through being in jail and everything. The cops are going to snap that in front of him or something.
If you think about it, Jake Lloyd gets a dad for Christmas, but Sinbad's kid loses his dad.
Yeah. Also, he says, and I understand this is supposed to be figuratively. He's like, "I got the real Turbo Man at home." But like, for kids, they're just like, "Oh, that'd be because he's got the suit." I'm like, he's gonna have to get that suit back. It's not like you get a Turbo Man at home. But I understand, like, as an adult, you're like, "Oh, I get it. It's all wholesome and everything." But
yeah, and his wife too is like, "And I've got one too." We're like, "What? No, he's not.
Yeah,
what do you want to do with the suit?"
Like. Yeah, but she knows what he looks like. I don't, that's where I'm like, I mean, if it were a schlubby, if it were like Phil Hartman, and then she's seeing him as a superhero, that's one thing.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
At what point is Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1996 taking his shirt off and you're being like, I don't see it. I got Ted.
Arnold, you got moobs. What's going on now?
Good stuff.
Well, guys, would you guys recommend this movie for people to watch if they've never seen it before?
Yeah, it's still a fun thing. I want to, before we talk about all that, I want to say just the last scene tries to set up a sequel, I guess. But
in the MCU, remember we were talking about pre-MCU? This has, because I actually didn't know about this until I think last night, because I didn't really leave the videotape on back in the day. So I had it on the HBO app on my Amazon, whatever. I got HBO on there. And while it's playing, I'm like, I'll just leave this stupid music on while I'm working. You know what I mean? Like and all of a sudden it goes. I'm like, what? There's a post credit. This really is an MCU movie. Yeah, there's a post credit.
I've never watched the post credit.
I might have missed that as well. I was talking more so about how, like, after the parade, they are back at their house, and he puts the star on the tree, and his wife's like, with everything you went through for your son, it makes you wonder, what'd you get me? And then it zooms in on him, and then zooms out, and it's like, is he going to have to go out at midnight?
Is that the post credit?
That's the post credit sequence.
Oh,
okay, I have seen that.
That's right after the parade. I was confused.
No, then you must have seen it on a DVD where they moved it up.
He watched the extended, remember?
It might might have been how the extended ended.
I'm telling you, it plays after the credits. If you go watch it on.
Now that you say that, Sketch, I do remember that as a kid because I remember watching it one time, and I just kept it on, and I saw that, and I was like, oh.
and then meanwhile they're like,
go get other stuff from Ted's house and put it in my wife's. You know,
where can I get jewelry at this hour? What's that?
Yeah. Knowing Ted, he probably had something over there for her.
Probably. He's got stuff primed for each wife. Like, he opens up a model room, and it's the cul-de-sac, and each house has a ring for the wife in there. I don't know.
Another missed opportunity in that reindeer fight was stumbling into, like, Ted's nightmare vault of, like, a
sex dungeon.
Something,
like his trophy room. You know what I mean?
Right, burnout,
all the wives he's
and his
collected.
dead ex-wife's there.
Oh, no. I mean, like just like...
Like a burn after reading room or something.
But like a wall, like a trophy wall. Like, I got this one, and she's next on the list. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going horror.
Yes, you were.
Well, see, again, you got to stay within the tone. But, you know. The Bloomhouse version of this movie. Okay.
What's that? You both talked. What's up?
I was saying if this were a Bloomhouse version of this movie, then yeah, you go full horror. But
yeah,
gotcha.
Go, don't breathe.
You just got to stick to inappropriately creepy sexual assault guy. Right?
Apparently, yeah. To answer your question, though, Corey, I would recommend this to someone because it's still entertaining enough to watch, and it's got some Arnold lines in it, but not because it's an Arnold movie to ironically watch his bad acting, but because of the supporting cast that makes this film.
Yeah. I think too, like, it's one of those movies too, is like you can put it on and then like go do something and come back and be like, oh yeah, I still understand what's going on, so we're good.
Right. With the paper thin plot of Dad needs to get toy before Christmas, then yeah, you're not gonna miss out on missing anything.
Now, if you start watching it like early and then you come back and it's the parade scene, you're like, what the happened?
Yeah. Why is
you might go back. Yeah, or what's this bomb situation?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Anthrax? I don't know.
Fun drinking game. Every time they do a close up on someone and you have to watch their mouths move, right? Just take a shot. Like,
yeah, that was something I did notice watching the Blu-ray of this. Is like you see every particle of sweat during that bomb scene in the radio station and everything on like both their faces and stuff. I'm like,
or the ta turtle man, and it just goes real close to Sinbad's mouth, and I'm like, all right, I didn't need to see that.
Oh, I get every hair of your mustache.
Was this the first time Arnold had a mall sequence since Terminator 2?
No, he had one in Commando.
Well, that was before T2.
No, it was Terminator 2, bro. Okay. It was 1984, man. Like, so Terminator 2 is 91, 92.
Yeah, might be right.
This might be the first time he had a mall sequence. Well, I mean, he ran through a mall in True Lies, right? Or was it a building?
No, I don't know.
Terminator 2, that mall sequence is quite iconic. You know, like that's...
I like how we're getting in trouble for the crazy ass stipulations that Sketch put on this question.
I just like how you repeat the same fucking answer after I chastise. Like, I feel like this is how the script was made. You know, like we should definitely
need a mall. Sucks.
You know what we could do? We could do that scene. What? It. You just stuck on it. We'll just put that in.
The thing is, though, it's like the mall of malls because he's.
Yeah, you would think. You there? Did you cut out?
Oh, yeah, Corey, you cut out for a second.
Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is the mall. It's Mall of America. You would almost think the climax would have taken place.
Yeah, because it is.
Maybe.
This is the mall in every movie. Like, why it's big enough and whatever. But
no, we get it like halfway through.
Or why wasn't the parade just in this mall? Why not just do that?
I mean, why shoot it in Minnesota other than for the Mall of America? There's no. I mean, they shot.
Yeah, it was.
The Playful stuff was in L.A., bro. Like that wasn't even.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And the parade stuff is L.A. too. You can see the stores are in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm,
like the jewelry shops. That's like Rodeo Drive-ish area.
Yeah, it was almost like they couldn't focus on, they didn't want to make it seem like just one city. Like it felt like New York at first, then like LA, and then it's just like, also, we are just in big city America.
Also, too, like they just do an overhead pan of the Mall of America. Like you never they could have just like overpanned that, and then everything was shot in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that second toy thing might have. I mean, that's definitely some Minnesota. There might have been some tax credits or something they got. I mean, Lord knows they spent the most of the money just getting Arnold. Probably.
Oh yeah.
I think about the budget. But yeah, there's a lot of MCU style, references in the movie.
It's supposed to be the superhero movies, or that's not a superhero movie, but he's going after what would be like the Captain America of our world right now.
Iron Man,
yeah, whatever.
But you asked and your prayers are answered. There's a Jingle All the Way too.
Yes, there is. And who is the lead in that one, Scotty?
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah,
which is yet another movie where he plays a character named Larry, probably because he can't understand acting as a character and he has to be addressed as Larry.
That one came out in 2014.
Yeah, just in time.
I'll tell you what it is. You can't really. It's because I hate to say this. I'm gonna get whatever.
Careful.
I'll just go there. His dumbass fans, right, only know
Larry
as Larry the Cable Guy.
Mm-hmm.
So if they give him any other name, they're gonna get mad.
Oh, that's fine. We can say that too. I don't.
Yeah, I live where you're talking about, and I'm fine with saying that.
If you call Larry the Cable Guy Howard in a movie, Larry, that's Larry, man.
Howard. That's not Howie. Maybe Harry.
Same with
Larry.
We're calling Arnold, but we all assume it's just how it is. You
could have done like a Wilbur or a Cletus, but that's about it.
Yo, Cletus.
Yeah.
I done Jingle All the Way. They work it into the movie.
Y'all see that Jingle All the Way too?
Oh man.
We joke about it, but that's real down here.
That's a shame. Sorry, I got caught up reading about Jingle All the Way too, which is apparently produced by 20th Century Fox and WWE Studios. That is not surprising at all.
Yeah. That must have been the situation where the Big Show went back to Vince McMahon, was like, look, I was in this and I think we got some potential with this.
Yeah.
It would have been great, right? So let me think about this. I got Big Show, I got WWE. What we do is we start it in a Christmas prison yard, and all the elves and him, and then it's like they
all
come
the Santa Claus, yeah.
Well, they have to get him out like Rambo 2, Ermintrout, you know what I mean? Like goes and gets the Big Show and all those guys to do one last Jingle All the Way. We need to.
Oh my god! One last heist. And then
we'll make it a heist movie, right? One last Christmas. Declining. We got one. All the toy sales are going down. There's this one last time. It's probably never going to happen again. So we got to get these guys. Yeah, I think
describing like kind of the plot of Bad Santa a little bit.
It's going to be Jingle All the Way to the Christmas Dozen, right?
Oh my, Scotty, we gotta end this thing. He's gonna just keep thinking of stupider shit.
For a second, I was confused, and I thought, wait, wasn't Larry the Cable Guy Bad Santa also? No,
no,
because very much not.
Yeah, are you telling me Larry the Cable Guy is a hillbilly Billy Bob Thornton? Because that's fucking hilarious.
Hillbilly Bob Thornton. Hillbilly Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
There we go.
I found something more hillbilly than Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, Larry the Cable Guy playing Sling Blade?
Oh, no. Just not. He doesn't need to do. Well, he wouldn't know what to do. He's not named Larry. He doesn't.
If Sinbad did him, he could be Sling Bay.
Oh, end it, Scotty.
I got nothing. This has been the Sideshow. We're going to keep talking about... We got one more shot at a Christmas movie, so it might be Christmas with the Cranks. We might surprise you with something else. There's not really any Sega Christmas stuff that I can think of, so we'll find something. By the way, this is related to Sega. Did you know that? Well, Sonic was in this. Sonic was in this movie.
Sonic, yeah.
And a grip of nomads are on that wall, I know. Because we brought them to the stores.
Oh, in the Toy Store. Yeah.
In the Toy Store.
There we go. Two links to Sega. We've got it down.
There's Jaguars in there, dude, because we had all this overflow stock at Playco. And
put boxes in the background. We need them.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, we had these Jaguars stacked all the way up. I was like, if these fell and killed us all, we'd be death by Jaguar.
That'd be awesome.
not only did they kill Atari, they killed me too. And so,
Yeah.
if you think this never stops, guys, like this I was there.
I was there.
Back to
And
the
these are
trenches.
normal people, right? In the 90s who were just like not used to someone like this. You know, there was no internet or
Right.
they're like, just shut up and count the fucking toys, man. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, Corey, you asked me if I'd recommend it. Sketch, it sounds like you'd probably recommend this to someone, right? Or just have it in the background.
No, I would recommend. No, I don't. Man, I know what people watch. You know, I would. You know, I think at the time I was like, this generic shit. You know what I mean? It's just cheap bargain basement, whatever. It doesn't even hold a candle to the lesser holiday movies like A Christmas Vacation wasn't liked when it came out too much. It caught its wind on cable. But looking back, you're like, yeah, that's a fun movie. This is 2 steps below that. I would say, though, if you watch The Toys That Made Us with the Power Rangers, and then you put this on and you just the whole time you're drinking mulled wine, by the time you get to the freaking Sinbad stuff, and then when you get to the Santa, you have a great time with the Santa part. Like, you know, you could just stop the movie right there as far as I'm concerned. Like, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So with some with some pregame watching and some booze, you'd watch it then.
Yeah, I had 2 bottles of mulled wine, 2 orange worth of juice, a sliced orange, sliced apple, cinnamon stick, and 1.5 tablespoons of mulled spices in there for about 2 hours. You're good to go, man. Like, this is the thing to watch.
And some
all
cookies.
right then.
And some cookies, just so you can put them down now.
Yeah, there you go.
So this has been the Megavision Sideshow. Thank you to those who are supporting us on Patreon. You can do that by clicking on the link in the description below. Remember, if you want the Sideshow early, you do have to be subbed to our Patreon or subscribing to us on Twitch. Otherwise, you'll get it a couple days late with the slow crowd, I guess. But still, regardless, we appreciate all your support for Megavisions. With me today has been sneaking through the cracks, maybe burning some cops' hands, Sketchcraft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What, I gotta keep talking now? I thought I was.
No, you just need to say bye. That's all. No. Corey, say something. Goodbye. You've been with us as well. Santa Claus, I don't know, whatever you do.
Put the cookie down now.
There we go. All right. This is fun. Bye. I think that's going to just about do us for the MSS show. Thank you, everybody. Merry holidays, and hang those trees high and don't punch any reindeer. Bye.
Bye.